Hello and welcome to another episode of the Sustainability Track here on African Renaissance TV, and I am your host, Mohamed Bib. In today's episode, we welcome three teams from the third edition of the Voice of This competition in the Gambia, the University of the Gambia, Management Development Institutes, and the University of Allied Sciences, formerly of GTTI. I hope this will be an interesting atmosphere today. This episode should be an interesting one, looking at the caliber of participants I have around me here. So we're going to take a quick introduction, starting from you, Mahmoud.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Baji, for having me here. It's a pleasure to be here on this show. I am Mahmoud Jallo, a final year student from the University of the Gambia and also the team leader for the University of the Gambia in the Voice of the Youth Project Season 3. It's a pleasure to be here.
Good evening, everybody. I am Kirija Tunabo, a student from the University of Applied Science, Engineering and Technology, studying my final year in construction. It's a pleasure to be here. I am the team lead for 43.2.
Good afternoon to you all. My name is Abubakar Pibono. I'm from MDI, studying Diplomacy and International Relations, and also the regional clerk for NYP as a KM.
All right, that's interesting. You were in different caps, but today I hope you are only here as the participant and the representative of Team MDI. So to that, we're going to start this conversation with Mahmoud. The Kora Water Project, that is your project, yes? Okay, so talk to us about the Kora Water Project first.
Okay, thank you very much. The Kora Water Sanitation Project, that is the name for the project that the team University of the Gambia is working on. It was a project that was piloted sometime in 2021. A team of young men and women from the University of the Gambia embarked on a survey within the length and breadth of the country to see in feasible areas where they could actually implement their project. And Kora Water and Sanitation, Kora village, which is located in CRR North, happened to be a fitting place for the implementation of their project. Having gone there, assessing the needs of the community, they realized that the community is affected in the areas of accessibility to clean and safe drinking water and as well sanitation. And they were able to, through the support of partners, they were able to implement a project of by providing a community borehole for the people of Kora and as well as digging public toilets for the people of Kora and street lights as well. So succeeding that team, as Team UTG, having understood that the Voice of the Youth Season 3 is anchored on sustainability of already implemented projects, we went back to the same community, had a dialogue with the community members to understand what are some of the persistent problems that they are still faced with despite the intervention in 2021. Having done the assessment, we realized that they had a problem with regards to malnutrition, as most of them are malnourished. They had a problem with environmental hygiene. The environment was not that very friendly. So we decided to extend the project into nutrition, environmental hygiene, and waste management, which is in line with a lot of sustainable development goals. So basically, that is an overview of what the Kora Water and Sanitation Project entails. This season, it was on sanitation, environmental hygiene, nutrition. Those were the intervention areas of Team UTG.
That's a great intervention to do, and then I think the organizers of the Voice of the Youth really had good thoughts around that. I mean, anchoring this year's project on sustainability, that is important. Yes, and then so today what I'm going to do, I'm going to try to upgrade my Fulani to see, because when you come to Team USET, the name of your project is a special one. It's one of my favorites. It's how do you say it? Fedda Bedare. Okay, so talk to us about Fedda Bedare, please.
Okay, so Fedda Baydare is a flow word, which means community development. You said it's working on malnutrition. So when our predecessors made a case study, we come to statistics and confirm that, like globally, 1 in every 3 children are malnourished. So we feel that it is alarming and we need to step into help. So we went to Nana that are working directly with malnutrition, and it let us know that Sarabovim is one of the most malnourished communities in the Gambia. So that is where our project site is located. We went there, we met the Alcalo and everything, we talked, and our predecessors were working. They did extremely well because they come with the idea of a garden, so they already fenced the garden. So when we went there for a sustainability plan, we met the Alcalo again, sit with them and discuss like what is the way forward. Then we think that we were able to come up with the idea of bringing a poultry, hence storage facility is a problem for them. So having a poultry as a source of protein will really help them to nourish them. So that was what we work on as a team. We already excavated the poultry. We started it at Three Coast, so we to continue. We already have a borehole there where water is accessible. We also provide them with fruit trees and also vegetables which are already grown and they water in them.
Wow, that is a whole project, and Fedda Bedare, I would not forget the name, Fedda Bedare. Okay, so that brings me to you, Mr. Usman. You've built the first community library in the Gambia, in some LRR. So what can you tell us about that project?
Well, Karambunda project was first initiated by 2.0, means the last year batch. And they started with the project called the Karambunda. And the team was coming from a Mandinka language, means a gate to land. So, and our basic project was focusing on quality for education within the LRR because we, the first by 2.0, make a research on LRR, and they came to realize that 89,000 population within the LRR, and most of them were dropout school and didn't have a quality education to follow their education. Although they were very hungry and determined and passionate about education, but they realized that the material and the facility for them to have a good education and quality education was lacking. And that really propelled the 2.0 team to center the first community library in Jara Soma, and which was very useful to them as we make a research as 1 to 3 students in Jara Soma normally use the library every day. And that will also change their impacts in their resource and their academic during the process, because in 2018 we had an excellent resource among those people who normally access the library. But basically for us 3.0, our project was really focused on the sustainability plan, which we were able to fulfill some, and some were not able to due to good reason. But that was basically about Karambunda project.
That's interesting. So your project is based on the thematic of education.
Education, yeah.
Okay, and the Fedda Bedare is based on health, and the Kora Water and Sanitation project too is based on the health. Okay, so to come to you, the Kora Water and Sanitation project, Mahmoud, your team came in as as champions. I mean, UTG came in as champions of the previous edition, the 2.0. So there must have been some pretty much big expectations on you at the initial stage.
Wow. Obviously, there were expectations. I mean, huge expectations. You know what it means to be defending champions. Everyone expects that
You see the crown winner again.
What we did in the previous year. But when we were coming in, we understood that okay, even though we were champions in the previous year, but there is still room for improvement if we still wanted to maintain that status quo. So we came with a clean mental window that we have to give the project what it deserves. That is the time, the commitment, and the attention that it needs. And obviously we have to put our resources together to making sure that we attain the objectives of the project. So there were a lot of expectations though from students, especially most of us were student leaders. And then if in fact those expectations at some point put us at tight corners, even having to come up with innovative ideas. Any idea we want to believe, okay, will be an innovative one, will tend to actually downgrade it because of the expectations were very high. But in the end, we were able to actually put the team spirit together and successfully implemented the project whereby we provided a community garden for the people of Kora, a flourishing community garden. We trained the people of Kora on waste management, waste segregation. We trained them on malnutrition as well. Obviously, we did not do that alone. We did it in partnership with institutions such as MANA and My Farm, and of course the University of the Gambia Management also was a huge partner in the implementation project. But all in all, we had high expectations, and we were actually glad that we were able to live up to some of the expectations.
Indeed. From those solutions and then sustainability mechanisms that you had, one can say you've actually sold that well the expectations. So okay, that will take us to the Fedda Bedare people. You had your project site at Bohum Kunda, one of the farthest as far as the 5 schools are concerned. You must have gone through challenges and hardships in that. Can you take us through those challenges that you had to implement within these 6 months?
Yes, so one of the major challenges we have was to attract partners because we're technical students. So people were convinced that malnutrition has nothing to do with us because that is not our way. So like it was really difficult for us to be able to convince our donors, like, look, agriculture itself is demand. So if you tell them that, they will feel like because you want them to come in and help, that is why you were saying it. But in the long run, we were able to prove that to them because we made our watering cans ourselves at the school, our billboards, our solar stands, our solar frames, everything was made by us, the students at the school. So that was some of the things that motivated a lot of the donors to come in and help. The other challenges we have has to do with transportation because Bohumkunda is a community that have only one means of transportation.
Okay.
That is, if you wake up by 6 a.m., you leave Bohumkunda, you will not going back till 5 p.m. in the afternoon. And from there, you will not going back till the following morning. So that was some of the challenges we really had. Sometimes we will leave here by 6 a.m., we will reach at Basse. We had to sit at the garage till it is 5 before we can depart and reach to our venue. That was also a challenge we have. The other biggest challenge we have was communication. Because unless like hadn't been communication was effective, there is some things that we could have take here when you just through phone call. But that cannot happen because there is no network. So you cannot call people. No matter how easy the tax is, you have to come back and settle that. But luckily for us, when we did our presentation and QCell saw that on TV, they went there and have this antenna there.
Yeah,
And
that's a huge thing. Yeah, at least yeah, that was great. At least the community now, in fact, outside of the project, the community can access the benefit to that, and then communication becomes easier for everyone. I will need to ask this question to the Karambunda people, MDI, Management Development Institution. Okay, with Karambunda, what are some of those relevant highlights that you can tell us? I mean, yours is on education. Taking that community library to that, what are some of those impacts that the library has on the environment and the area in particular? Soma.
Well, like I mentioned previously, that it has really impacted a lot of people in Jarasoma, especially the young students that are normally going to the school within the senior school, junior school, because they normally use the library frequently. As I said, because as I said, we make a recite from 1 to 3 normally visited the library, and also not only that, and there's a youth community there at the youth committee in Alara. Those who normally use the library for making recite because they have PC, they have desktop there that they can use for research as there was a Wi-Fi there. But eventually, we the 3.0 wanted to we changed the study scope of the entire project, the library in fact, to make it as a, how to call it again, no internet connection. Means that everyone could access the desktop without no internet connection to sign the MOU with Gambia Tech, which was very useful and helpful. And also having a session and training within the young entrepreneurs there, and also the students who are very determined for knowledge and very hungry because they didn't have those material. But due to the establishment of the library, it was so
They're able
relevant.
to access those things
They
now.
were very access, and also they were able to access those books like novels and books that are in line with their curriculum of education, and which was so helpful for them. And even their parents have been also give us testimony of how when their student, their how to call
Children.
it, their child or their child starting to use in the library, and how the dramatical change have been occurred during the short time of period, and which was very grateful to. And we were very grateful to our partners because we didn't do it all alone, because we had a partnership and stakeholders who will help us. And from which we are from the Alcalos, from within their
The community itself.
from the Alcalo and the BBC and the youth chairs and the vice chair, they really help us because even the vice chair was the librarian who normally take care in the library for cleaning, and also having a checkbook whereby every student who need to borrow a book to take it at home, you must write your name, your contact details, for instance, and there is a particular period that will be given for you to return it, and so that you can allow
Others to have access to it.
access to the other books, and which was so grateful.
Kadi, this must have been something you faced as a team. Looking at it, you said formally the GTTI, your academics are really serious, and then it's an important part of your career. So how were you able to balance this, your academic works and then the project works?
Okay, when it comes to our aspect as students of USAT, we need to be really grateful to our management and our department, that is the construction department, because we made it very clear to them that we cannot be able to be inside a home due to network and everything to be sending our assignments and everything. So they stepped in for us. The head of department made it clear with certain lecturers to give us the 6 months to focus on what we are doing. so that things are going to be easy. So that was how we sort out the issue of
Academics
academics,
challenges,
and
okay.
we focused on our project instead.
Okay, that's important. Those things are. So coming to you, on education, how were you? Like one of the things that is really fascinating for me. I mean, when it comes to information gathering, how were you able to do those statistics, and then how were you able to come up with those statistics to determine that okay, LRL is one of those areas that really needed support in terms of education with the library that you had over there?
Well, first and foremost, the 2.0 really did great during the statistic because at first they went to the website of GBOS because GBOS never has some statistic of education and the population, and they really find out that there are a lot of dropout of school in
LRR.
Jara Soma, LRL, and also the quality of education was not how to call it again, was not up to the standard or the expectation of the parents. So this later propelled the 2.0 to be to have the project on Jara Soma. But for us during the collective of statistics, we use question and answer in paper and also a few interview within the community of Jara Soma for the project of how the project is going and how the beneficial of the project is impacting the young lives and also the youth over Jaras and in LRR. And we later find out that there are most people who are using the library and most people who are using the library and people are really benefiting from the library with the computers and with the desktop. And also we during our sustainability plan we wanted to have a mini hall which was in the process for the community to use that mini hall for in order to have a session or a youth programs or the human cafe or the human clubs that are there to use in the hall in making such decision for the welfare and the best for the welfare of the community in order to move from the grassroots from the level to stage for it to be. So the hall was in the process of being a standard hall, but due to financial problem, we were not able to make it as standard as we wished to. And also the cafeteria, which because it maybe seems we are trying to deviate from the
Yeah, from education
the
to
education
one will ask why.
one would ask why, but we seems as necessary because most of the people use the library, as I said, and they could not be using the library because that place is in a park, like a U place, while we have the park and the youth center, and it is very big, and it's the center of the community where it's surrounded with a lot of villages and towns there. So most people use the library. So if we initiated that if people are using the library there, the student, they might be coming a time. We are human being, like you may be studying and after the end, your stomach will start crying and you'll be feeling hungry. So we decided to make life easy for all of us and the student and the people who are coming to access the library. Why not we have in a cafeteria there that will provide food for them in a very affordable price for them to access in order them to continue the study for not to leave everything what they are doing and have to walk in a few kilometers or meters to reach at home and eat and have to come back, and that requires really strength and energy and human resources. So we trying to calculate it, and we had that sustainability plan there, but unfortunately was not able to be on place because, as I say,
Finance. Yeah.
financial
But this
problem.
is something that you still want to do.
Yeah,
Because it's important. From what I can understand,
Yeah.
if you have a cafeteria by the library,
Yeah.
and that is still within the confines of the library,
Yeah.
that people can access and pay.
Yeah.
Whatever monies that are realized from that will still be used to finance and then serve as a sustainability plan for the library.
Yeah, and also we initiated that in the token of the money will be used to pay as a librarian who normally take care of the library and to be in a
Okay.
good condition for each learners and each users to be there because you're gonna be using the library everywhere it's mentioned and to take care of the books and arranging according to where it's supposed to because each book has a number and that will be well standard. But we want to change the status quo of making us a digital library, which we are on the process. And also, we wanted to recycle tires within the community of LRR for the entrepreneurship because now our focus was now starting to deviate from education, but we see it as they
A
are so
sustainability plan with
connected.
that.
It is connected and part of the sustainable plan for the lab, because we didn't want the library for a project of 6 months, and later on the project have just died away like that, and after all the
Okay,
effort.
so Mr. Usman, I wouldn't cut you.
Yeah.
So this is important because as far as sustainability is concerned,
Yeah.
and how you are able to link these things, but I'll come back to that.
Yeah.
I want to ask this question to the team you said,
Yeah,
and
so-
I'll come back to you for
Yeah.
that. So he's talking about the entrepreneurship aspect of their project. I've learned that you had a boot camp at Janjambure this time, and then you had gone through some trainings, and then entrepreneurship was one. So what are some of those trainings that you had, and then how do you think they are useful as far as your project implementation is concerned?
Yes, so the entrepreneurship was very, very important for us because it guided us through the training that we have at the boot camp was what led us to most of the things that we did to implement in our project so far. Because through the entrepreneurship that we have, we were able to prioritize things. Like let us put this one first. We have because we were given a seed money of 15,000 and we were supposed to go to Bohum Kunda and something needs to be done for the first jury visit. So we go in for what is more reasonable and what is more needed. Something that if you put it there, it's going to be beneficial to the people that are there. So that entrepreneurship training really helps us because it gives a priority on what to do first and then what to do next. So it really guided us, it really helps us because through that entrepreneurship training, we were able to come up with the idea of introducing a market for the people, that is organizing a Lumo Day for the people of Bohum Kunda. That is, there is a day that we will go around the community, the neighboring communities, and announce to them that this so day, Bohum Kunda will be having a Lumo to be selling their products. So people can come and buy from there. We can buy seeds, replant, and everything that we want.
That in itself is a sustainability plan because they're able to learn these things with or without you. When that continues, they're able to take care of the project without you. Okay, so that brings me to you, Mahmoud. I want specifics from you here. What are some of those sustainability mechanisms or plans that you had in the Kora Water and Sanitation project?
Yes, like I had mentioned earlier on, the 3.0 Core Water project is anchored on sustainability. And like my colleague here rightly mentioned, the entrepreneurship trainings we had were very beneficial to the sustainability mechanisms we developed as the University of the Gambia. One of which was to making sure that the community garden that we have actually provided for the people of Kora was not mainly used for consumption purposes. Part of it would be used for commercial purposes where they will sell it. They will sell the produce from the garden, and the proceeds that they generate from that, it will be percentage. The people that have been working in the garden, it will be divided among them, and a percentage of it also will be kept in the community account. We made sure that the community had a separate account. That money is going to be deposited into for the maintenance of the garden, and also part of it will be used to educate the children of the community members. Because when we went there, they told us plain that they were inspired, that now they are inspired to send their kids to school. I can quote one of the villagers that told me that back then you dare not think of taking your child to school or telling your father that I want to take my child to school because they deemed it was not necessary. But the fact that the University of the Gambia was able to leave the combos, go to the Central River region, Sierra North, a community like in Kora where we have just 300 people to impact their lives, they were more than inspired to send their kids to school.
That's an inspiration.
So that was also a sustainability mechanism. And one of these sustainability mechanisms we developed as the BUTG also was to making sure that the community owned the project. We were there to assist them to provide the resources, but then in the long run, it is them and the garden and all other provisions that will be there. So they needed to feel the sense of ownership. That is why we capacitated them in garden management. We built their capacities. We trained them on environmental hygiene. We trained them on compost making, how to make compost manure to provide manure for the garden, and all those were
Sustainability plans that you had. Those are important because when you're looking at the lasting nature for these projects, these are some of the things that must be counted. Okay, so at Bohum Kunda, malnutrition was one of the greatest challenge the community faced. So what are some of the things that you did to cope the situation, to find solutions to malnutrition or just minimize the rate?
Yes, so when we went there at first, that is devoted 2.0, when they went there and told the Alcalde about the initiative, the people of the community were laughing. They were like, they are all lies. They had to leave. So it comes to our knowledge that we were not the first people to go there. People have been going there, telling them, yes, we're here to help you, we will do this, we will do that, and they will not come back. So they don't have that trust. So we have to come back, sit and discuss on how best we can be able to convince these people and show them that, look, we are real, we're not here to joke. So we work on that, and when we went back on the second visit, they were like, they come back again. So we sat with the alcalde and tell him, look, this is something that we want to do because we feel that it is necessary as youths. We need to play our role. So we start that dialogue, and at some point they were convinced, and it was easy. So that was how we were able to have the project. So when we went there, we realized that all they cultivated was cereal crops, that is coos and maize. So we went to NANA, that is the National Nutrition Agency, to guide on us how best to make those materials available for them, very nutritious. So from there, we also went to Garden Center, and then they also give us a guide. So when we went back, we tell them, look, this maize you were eating every day lachiri is not helping. So why not today, we instead of eating lachiri, we do it to porridge. That is going to help. So that is how we were able to introduce this basic
Okay, so
things,
you have to influence their diet.
influence their diets.
Okay.
That is to improve them before we start the garden. So that is how we were able to influence their diet. Sometimes when they cooking, we'll be like, wait, instead of doing it this way, let us do it this way. It is going to be simple. So that is how we have that interaction, and then that is how we were able to convince them.
Yeah, because
with
nutrients,
diet.
these nutrients are important for their diet, and for that to be able to cope the situation that they are facing, that is malnutrition. But this is a community that, from what I've learned, has a lot of cattle, for instance. So, what is the explanation to that? Like, they have lots of those animals that they can easily use to up their nutrients, and then but they are not doing that. So, what are some of those explanations?
Yes, so when we went there, that is what I asked the alcalde. I told him, you guys are very rich because you have a lot of cattle. So why are you not making the best use of this cattle? Then he confirmed to me that they don't have a preservation method because a whole family can eat a whole cattle one day.
Day.
And if they slaughter that cattle for a day and eat it, then they don't know how to do the remaining because they don't have a way to
Preserve that.
So that is how we come up with the solution of providing them a poultry instead.
That is important. Well, that way, I think someone would need to tell them how to eat the cattle. I can't really help them in that manner. Okay, so but when it comes to Soma, the LRR, specifically, I want to have this understanding. How were you able to raise over 100,000?
Well, it was quite a challenging moment for us and for a lot of struggle and a lot of cracking the brains and the minds.
Yeah, because these days everyone is facing that donor challenge because of COVID, post-COVID, and a lot of challenges that we are facing globally.
Yeah.
But you are still able to raise that and then implement your project.
Well, we were having a lot of guidance. We have a guidance and people who put out in the street part for the people who are willingly to invest on the project, like Karambunda project, and the team was quality education, and which was quite useful that MDI have done their part and Gambia Tech to have done their part, and other stakeholders. By lobbying, we will normally lobby, we write letters to them. Sometimes we even write a proxy call just to meet them. And some I can quite remember back. We write to Action Age, and we went to them. So we tell them our plans and what we want to do. But they were willing to contribute towards the project. But for them, they were not focusing on LRR. They were focusing on North, and which was
it was a different intervention area, so they couldn't.
And it really makes us to be in a really setback because like we were hoping some token and some kind of cash from them in order to move the project forward, but unfortunately it was not. But we keep on holding the good faith, and eventually we had a lot of partners who were ready to put on some token there, and we were able to come the project. And also KMC from Gambia Tech, from Cape Project, we wrote to them on recycling of the tires, and we are from recycling the tires with the first phase from MDI and the second phase from Jara Soma. And the first day we made the mayor, and the mayor took us.
The mayor of Carnegie Municipal Council.
The mayor of Carnegie Municipal Council took us to go to, whereby on that day, the following, before that day, the actual day, there was a fire was occurring there, and a lot of tire was there, and it was pollution all over the place. So we went there, we see a lot of tires, and the mayor offered us with the director of CAP for recycling those tires into a model seat for modern seed for people to use to seed, and that will be so helpful. We are now from project from quality education, we are moving to the quality from entrepreneurship, and then from there we are trying to change the society from pollution, because from now we were able now to recycle a lot of tires, but they give us a promise of recycling tires within the game all around the school, and also LRR, which it is still on promise, and we are hopefully maybe this year or we'll be able to implement
Have
those
some.
projects, and also to train those youth in Jara Soma on how to make the tires into a model seat. For instance, when they make when we train them on how to make it, they will be able to now to make tires without us being there and selling to China, and that will be revenue for them to empower themselves, and also a revenue from the Karambunda project to take over the library to continuously, because we've seen a lot of community libraries here that will a lot of community libraries here, it does not continue as
Yeah,
it is.
so the sustainability might
Is a
always be a
problem.
problem.
So we
Okay.
had a lot of sustainable plan. Though, if this one does not work efficiently, that one,
Another
will
one will
support,
work.
and that will keep the library
Okay,
until the
so
end of the
the
world.
Karambunda project, we are hopeful is going to be a sustainable project. So that is
And we
important.
also with other stakeholders who are really watching us here to come and to come and support the Karambunda project, the quality education, because really the community, the DLRR, Lower River region, Jara Soma, they really need the help of quality education within the Jara Soma, the students.
I am hopeful the Karambunda project will have support, because education is one sector that everyone has a business in and everyone wants to venture into. So I think that is important. But Mahmoud, he made mention of something. He said Carnegie Municipal Council supported them with the tires. That brings this question. What do you think is the importance of stakeholders as far as this project implementation is concerned, from both the state government and the local government down to the communal stakeholders?
Yes, so this is an interesting question because uh, for us, what we realized as Team UTG is in implementing our project, we needed resources. And our students who are not, who I might say, not fully financially strong, we needed support. But we understood also that the support we needed was not only financial. We understood we needed technical support. We needed human resource support. So we had to go back, sit as a team, and develop a proposal for the entire project. And this we distributed to various institutions and government parastatals. So when they grant us audiences, we went with our proposals and concept notes and we presented to them. From the engagements we had with them, we were lucky. The National Nutrition Agency was able, we are not able to give us financial support, but they gave us technical support and human resource support.
Which is an equal important thing.
They
It's
gave
important.
us information and material that we could use to influence the behavior and social and behavioral change of the people in Kora. And they not only stopped there, they provided all the personnel to train the people of Kora on community development, on malnutrition, garden management. So that was important. We had support from the UTG management, financial. They also provided us support. So wrapping up with your question, I feel like development, it's cross-cutting. It's no one sector can do it. We have to put all hands on deck, from the state government, like you mentioned, to youth, the youth of the country, and to even people who are being helped. And that was what we appreciated.
The community,
the
community people.
The community that we were actually implementing our project. They showed the willingness, they showed us that they needed it more than what we wanted to provide. So you could see the collaboration was there. It's just about collaboration, each institution putting in little efforts to making sure that you better the lives of one or two people in the country. That way we can move this country forward.
I think that is the only way you can put a smile to the face of every community. Talking about smile, Khadija, I want to ask this quick question. What was your best fun moment in the whole competition?
My best fun moment in the whole competition was this very day that we were able to erect our bowl and then we went. So we were tested. The alcalde was present. Most of the elders of the community were present that day. We even have the councillor of the community, Mr. Kamara, was there. So he was there, we were all there, we were tested, and all of us sudden, when we put in the pumping machine, the water started flowing. Everybody is running. Like the whole community.
Okay, like water is
the water rubbing it on their face and everything. that alone, I was convinced that look, I made it in life because
That was a
keep
huge
going,
contribution. Yeah, it was
smiling,
that
and like
life-changing
everybody
moment.
appreciated. The Alkali was like, Bohukunda is known with the efforts of you people. So today you were our daughters, you were our sons, you were part of our community. So that alone we were content. So that's
That
why.
that that that,
So
that, that
we
is one of the
enjoyed, we
best
were
fun
all
you can have in your
laughing,
life.
splitting the water all over, smiling. We all enjoyed that moment.
Okay, so to come to you, Mahmoud, like I said, you are a student leader. So as a youth leader, what message do you have for the youth out there about the relevance of the Voice of Youth competition?
Wow, this is a question I will passionately answer. From my years of investment in youth initiatives in advocacy, community development, and volunteerism, and of course youth leadership, my greatest argument has been that this country, our greatest resource is the youth force. That the youth should take charge. We need not to wait for the government or our leaders to change the status quo. We are the leaders of this country, not future leaders. Because we are the people that are able. Okay, the resources might be there available, but if we don't utilize it, the old age people cannot utilize it. So I will actually send the message out there for youth to actually take the opportunity to participate in every platform that will avail them the opportunity to impact the lives of people that they live with, from volunteerism to community development and to leadership initiatives. That is the only way that we can move this way forward. We have to, the individual contributions that we make at our own personal levels, impacting lives of one or two people, is what will consolidate to national development.
That is indeed important. And as I love to be here for the rest of the day, this is what time has really permitted us. But what we're going to do, we're going to take a quick remarks from each of you before we leave here. So we're going to start that with you, Mr. Bokar.
I'm so grateful and honored to be here for the interview of the Karambunda project, and which is so helpful to me, and which is something that I will take along from the for my entire life, because this is a day to be remembered and this is a day to be cherished in every single day. I just wake up. So I would just like to thank to everyone who have been supporting us from the Karambunda project from the start to the end. But yet it's not end. We are still continuing the project. Like we our first thank from the MDI administration who really done their part for making the success, and KMC, Gambian Tech, and African, and the previous team 2.0 like Gamasi, Holland, and also Child Fund have really done their part, and also the National Library to also done their part. So I would just say thank you so much for all the stakeholders who are and the partners who are really interested on the project. I believe this is a lifetime changing of the community of Jara Soma, because there are a lot of youth who are really empowered and who are very determined and hungry for knowledge and passion of what they do. And I say thank you so much.
Well, I am the Karambunda project. I hope to see more developments from the Karambunda project going forward.
Inshallah.
Okay, Khadija, team, you said the University of
Applied Science Engineering.
Applied Science and Engineering. Yes, so
Okay, so I will first thank you for having me here today. I really appreciate that. I'm happy to be here. Yeah, so I would say a very big thank you to Social Change Factory for coming up with such an initiative. Because believe me, the 6 months I spent in Voice of the Youth has been the best 6 months of my life.
we literally forget that you've been voted as the best participant of the competition.
Congratulations.
That's a congratulations to you.
Thank you. Yeah, it has been the best 6 months of my life because when the competition started, like all the participants withdrew, so I was the only one left. And when I talk to people, they will be like, everybody left. And they'll be, look, this is a responsibility I take. Just because everybody left, even if I'm going to do it alone, I'll be there. So that is a motivation because through Voice of the Youth, it helps me learn a lot. It helps me meet people. Because hadn't it not be the Voice of the Youth, if someone ever told me there is a community in the Gambia that don't have rice as their staple food, I'll be like, come on,
Yeah.
it's not possible. Because that is what I believe. But when I went out there to this community and I see how they living and everything, I forgot that I was there for a competition. The competition escaped my mind. All I see is I need to play my part. I need to do something for these people. That was all that mattered. So we cannot do it without our donors. We send a very big thank you to Swagam for always answering our calls. National Environmental Agency, National Nutrition Agency, the USAT School Management, at various departments within the school, the students that leave their lectures and join us in Bohum Kunat to make this a success. They say thank you to everyone, and we hope it's continued because this is just the beginning. We impacting the life of people. They already trusted us, so we're not going back. We're moving as we are part of them. They also part of us. So it has been more than a competition. They're more of a family, and we're saying a very big thank you also to all the facilitators, the lecturers, everybody that has took us through training and everything, and yes, the participants because we always have the fun moment when we're together, we don't behave as competitors. We always want. We're very confident to discuss about our projects within ourselves. So I am saying thank you to everyone that makes both of the year very colorful. We're very proud.
And also, those I would like to use the opportunity and thank the most important asset for the Karambunda project, and that is my teammate, Kiva Damfa and Mustafa Ajay and Bintu Sa, who are so committed and passionate towards the success and development of the project. And they were so everything they give everything what they have, and I would just say they are the male assets of the Karambunda project. I say thank you so much, my teammates, for making this project to become a life.
Well, they would have loved to be here, but I'm sure we're going to have them here someday. So that is important. Yeah. So from Fedda Bedare now to Team UTG. Yes.
Final words.
Final words.
First of all, thank you for having me here, Baji. Again, it's a pleasure to be here. I think my final words would actually be in the form of gratitude. It's been a worthy course, 6 months that was very purposeful and productive, I would say. What I am saying is a big thank you to Social Change Factory for organizing this project, for coordinating this project, obviously, and for their excellent team that they actually came up with to coordinate the different teams that were participating in this project. And also we'd like to thank the Voice of the Youth Project and the University of the Gambia management for their continuous support to students of the University of the Gambia. Of course, my wonderful teammates for their cooperations. We had fights along the line of executing the project, and that is actually what one aspect if change is desired. And this is only, we hope, that will be replicated at national level. We might fight, we might have blows, but if the goal and objective is one, we will reach there ultimately, and that is what should have happened in our public institutions. And we would like to thank also the National Nutrition Agency for their continuous support. And finally, I would say, someone that comes from rural Gambia, I know what it means to give back to the underprivileged and the impoverished communities. I've lived it firsthand, growing up as a young guy from rural Gambia, so I know the unfortunate realities that are in rural Gambia. So I would like to call on government institutions, non-governmental organizations, and all other concerned authorities to actually make it a commitment to making sure that we improve the lives and livelihood of people that are living with, that lives in the underprivileged communities. So thank you to Social Change Factory once more. It has been a pleasure participating in the Voice of the Youth project. Thank you for having me.
Yes, so a big thank you to from the ARTV, African Renaissance TV, and the Sustainability Track here to our viewers, and then anyone that is watching us from here, from the Gambia or outside of the Gambia. And today we had this episode here at the Nero restaurant, where here is one of the best places that you can come and have your orders and then be served food dishes of your choices, and then come up with your friends and family to spend one of those wonderful times that you desire. Until we come your way with another episode, this was the Sustainability Track, and I am Mohamed Bibaji.